What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Killer Point of View podcast. My name is Brian, and I am joined by my co-host today, Joe.
Hello.
And this is the Killer Point of View podcast, where we take a deeper look into some of your favorite horror films, uncovering hidden themes, unseen terror, and offering a perspective like no other. We're back after seemed like forever since our last episode.
It seems like we haven't spoken since last year.
Yes, that is true. Technically, yes. Me, Ashley, did an episode with a guest a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But that was kind of different from our usual podcast, movie review type stuff. It was more of an interview, so a little bit different. But yes, so today it is only Joe and I, because we are talking about a film that for a lot of people is way too long, and I understand, because I mean it's a long movie. It's a long movie. But yeah, and if you've been listening to the podcast for any period of time or a long period of time, then you know that especially like Ashley and Jamie do not want to watch The Shining for multiple reasons. So, yes, the film we are discussing today is The Shining. Now, this is our Valentine's Day episode, so I wanted to talk about this film in a different way. I've never really seen it talked about as like a love story. So I thought that was unique and different. And it really adds to the whole Killer Point of View thing. So I really wanted to approach it from that angle. But first, should discuss the impact that this film has had. I think when it first came out, I think it was one of those films that kind of like Scarface, like when it came out, it wasn't received well, and then over time it just became this cult classic film, and became a part of pop culture, crazy. So it's like when I was doing some research on it, I mean, initially it was not well received, as you said, by critics. I mean, there was criticism for slow pacing, not thrilling. Some people were thinking I read an interview that Clint Eastwood actually gave, because apparently Clint Eastwood hates this movie. And he was talking about... So does Stephen King.
But he thinks that, Kubrick lost his touch when he did this movie, because he can do suspense, I guess, in his other movies. I've seen some of his other movies, but not all of them. And it's also, I mean, this movie got nominated for a Razzie Award for Worst Director and Worst Actress for Shelley Duvall. So, I mean, it's from most of the criticism, it seems, is from people who read the book and appreciate the book a lot more than how this film adaptation was. Well,
I've never read the book, but I've always heard that the book and the movie are really different, Oh
yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why Stephen King, he said that he liked some parts of the movie, but he hated what Kubrick did with the film, to the story, really. And particularly the Wendy, played by Shelley Duvall. Her character was a lot different in the book, I guess. Compared to what we got. And as the creator of the story and everything, I can see why you would hate the movie if it's like really different from what you did. So
I mean, I sometimes I wonder, just when it comes to authors and when their movies are made into adaptations, it's like what their opinion is overall of it. Some of them even they'll star in like the film adaptation. Like I know Stephen King has done a few roles in some of the film adaptations.
Yep.
So, but it's I was thinking about it, because I was thinking about like what are some of my favorite film adaptations by Stephen King, and my favorite are not even his horror genre. Like, a lot of people forget that he does non-horror as well. And
some of the best film adaptations of his works, in my opinion, is like Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile,
such a great film.
Yeah, and Stand By Me. I mean, those are three, like, they're top films in my, like, top 100 films. If I was going to make a list, those three are in there for sure.
Green Mile could be looked as a horror film in a way. In a way, it could be. It could be.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
but yeah, no, I agree. Shawshank Redemption is probably the best book to movie story I can think of. But I'd be inclined to agree with that. Like the three that I just named, yeah, Shawshank would easily be number one for me. Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite films. Probably in my top 20 favorite films of all time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he has so many that are good, like It, Carrie, Misery. I mean, there's too many. Maximum Overdrive.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like the I'd say probably the last one that I liked was like The Stand. That was a good one. Not the remake that was made recently. I haven't seen it. I'm talking about the one that was made like back in the 90s or whatever.
Pet Cemetery. So, like there's so many that he has that are good. That were good movies too. So, but yeah, he wasn't afraid to say that he didn't like this film. But in order, and this is actually something that I just found out while doing some research. In order to make his miniseries in the 90s, I think it was 1997. He made a miniseries, The Shining. In order for him to do that, I believe it was Warner Brothers. They basically told him that he cannot say that he don't like the Stanley Kubrick film anymore if he want to do this miniseries. So they basically shut him up,
right?
Because he was pretty vocal about not liking the film. So, and then from what I saw, people didn't like the miniseries at all compared to the film.
I didn't even know they made one. Have you seen it?
I've seen a little bit of it, not the whole thing. I do know that it sticks more to the novel than the Stanley Kubrick film, and that's why a lot of people didn't like that version, is because the version they know is the film and not the book. So it could have something to do with that.
Right. Yeah.
I do want to watch it though, just to check it out, because that's another thing. We were talking about his book to movies, but there's a lot of TV shows also. Kingdom Hospital, Rose Red, that I enjoyed. So I do want to check out the Shining. I think it was a mini series. I'm actually about to look it up right now. Yeah, it came out in 1997. Yes, it was a mini series. Says 3 episodes.
Oh wow! Okay.
They were all an hour and 30 minutes long, so they're all like movie length. But
right,
yeah, it got some good people in here. A couple of good people that I recognize. Yeah, I might check this out. But yeah, this film had like we said, when it came out, it was one of those films that critics probably didn't really know how to, or their opinion was their opinion at the time, but over time it became a cult classic film. And that's something I do think about when we review some of these like newer movies, is like, I don't want to go too hard because I want to give it time to like grow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that lately, because I know the one film that I probably went hard on when it first came out was the latest Texas Chainsaw Massacre film that was on Netflix, which was our very first podcast episode that me and Ashley did. I'm pretty sure we shitted all over that film. But to be fair, we had just watched the 2003 remake, which is my favorite of the franchise, and it was a lot to live up to. So I do want to rewatch the I think it was 2022 that came out. And then Evil Dead Rise is another film that I don't think I was too fond of when we went to go see it at the movie theater.
Yeah. I remember you weren't that pleased. I mean, I didn't think it was terrible. I mean, personally, I liked the Evil Dead remake, the one before that. That one was really good.
2013.
Yeah, that one was great. But Evil Dead Rise, it was all right. I mean, it was entertaining, that's for sure. But I don't know. I think the plot could have maybe been different or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, the movie that I shit on obviously last year was fucking the 28 years later, and I'll shit on it some more. I'm happy to do so.
Have you actually seen the one that just came out last month?
Well, Bone Temple? No, I won't watch it. But I'm surprised because I was just there's some podcasts I watch, and apparently it's like a lot of people apparently didn't even fucking know it came out, which is kind of weird because I've been seeing trailers for like fucking crazy. So I must be glued to my TV too much or something because I knew it was coming out, but a lot of people apparently didn't, which some people say it's the fact that this movie Bone Temple came out. I think it's only been 7 months since 28 years later came out or something. Mm-hmm. It came out like last summer or whatever. So people think that they're just Bone Temple. It didn't get enough. The 28 years later did not get enough time to like simmer, so to speak, for people to adjust to, and then they dropped the Bone Temple one. They just kind of like quickly just boom, shoved it right out the door, and they put it in the January slot. So
I heard that it was pretty good.
Well, that's nice. Good for them.
It's on my to watch list.
Okay, you let me know how it is. I mean, seriously, if it's good, maybe I'll consider it. But
all right, so let's get into The Shining. This film came out in 1980, June 13th, 1980. It had a budget of $19 million, and it grossed worldwide a little over $50 million. And then, like we said, over time, it became a cult classic. It became a part of pop culture. I mean, Jack Nicholson saying, here's Johnny. I don't know how many times I've seen that in like either a commercial or, some type of compilation of like just movie clips. Or even, Danny riding his tricycle around the hotel. Like there's a lot of scenes in this film that has been placed in a lot of really compilations and stuff that has been played on TV and stuff like that. Like this film really has it entered that pop culture status. And at least for me anyway, I'll always say the 80s was really the maybe not the birth of pop culture, but it really was like the height and really when pop culture went boom, like everything was just fucking a collectible and, just the music, movie, like everything just hit on all fucking cylinders, it seemed like.
Yeah, I mean this movie in particular. I mean, it's like you were saying. It's kind of been like it's referenced often. Like I was just thinking of while I was watching it, I was thinking of 30 Seconds to Mars, their music video "The Kill," which takes place in a hotel. It's like they're kind of doing the Shining as well. It's like whenever you hear about a movie where it takes place in like a empty hotel, like in off season or whatever, people are like, "Oh, The Shining,"
yeah,
because even the setting makes people think about The Shining. So.
Yeah, and like you said, it being referenced, it's referenced in a lot of different fucking movies and TV shows. Like, a lot.
I mean, it's even today, even like right now today, it's like it's scenes from the movie have been made into memes. Like when we got hit, because we're here in Michigan, we got hit with that fucking those freezing temperatures. People were posting memes of Jack Nicholson in the end when he dies and he's sitting there frozen. People are like, how Michiganders feel right now.
That is a fact. Fucking then, frozen to death. Yep.
Yeah. And one of my favorite meme is it's the scene where Shelley Duvall's character is holding the bat and he's like walking up the stairs to her. And people would just like put across Jack Nicholson's forehead, it's like the year 2026, and it says, and over Shelley Duvall's face, it says, me adjusting to 2025. Get away from me! Don't hurt me. Like it's even used in memes. It's definitely an iconic film for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that, even if you don't like the film, I think you can still recognize how iconic it is.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't agree with it, but I think you can't deny how iconic it is just because of how much it's referenced in other movies, TV shows, all the different, memes and, just everything. It's like I've heard about The Shining a lot in every decade. Like I haven't seen The Shining in a really long time, but I've heard it referenced in so much stuff. So
yeah, and I would say as far as, like, for example, Jack Nicholson, I mean, he's done a lot of great movies. I mean, this is not his only movie, but I think when you think of when you hear Jack Nicholson's name, this is probably, it's either The Shining either pops in my head, or maybe I'll think about like A Few Good Men, or possibly even like maybe Batman, one with Michael Keaton. Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those three. Yeah, one of those movies pops in my head instantly when I think of Jack Nicholson.
Definitely, those three movies are definitely in the top 5 movies that come to mind. Also, the what's the one I'm thinking about? The Cuckoo.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, I think about that also.
Yeah.
So that's 4 right there, but yeah, The Shining is definitely up there for sure. And also, when you think about Stanley Kubrick, this is probably one of the 5 films that you would probably think about. So,
yeah, it is. I mean, I also think about instantly Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, he definitely got some other ones. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, Full Metal Jacket, Barry Lyndon, Paths of Glory. I mean, he's definitely got quite a few up there. I think he, am I not mistaken? Did he do Apocalypse Now, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Did he do what?
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now.
You've never seen Apocalypse Now?
I'm drawing a blank on that. I know
he did not. I'm sorry. No, he did not. I'm sorry. That was Francis Ford Coppola. My apologies.
I know he did Eyes Wide Shut. He did A Clockwork Orange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
2001: A Space Odyssey. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Spartacus.
The Shining definitely would be in that top 5. I would.
Oh
say,
yeah,
I would say. Damn, I haven't seen Eyes Wide Shut in a while.
I don't think I've ever seen it. No.
I think that was the last film he did before he died. Let me look. He died March 7th, 1999. Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut came out in 1999.
Damn.
And considering what that movie is about, it's kind of suspicious that he died that year. But we won't get into all of that. But I might watch that movie sometime this week because it's been a minute.
Right.
So Tubi. Okay. Yeah. So let's get into The Shining. And how I want to approach this film and how I want to look at it, basically as a twisted love story. So, is The Shining a film about a haunted hotel or a toxic marriage? It's really easy to think about it being a haunted hotel. I mean, because that's where all the crazy shit happened, right? Before, or the only creepy thing that happened in the film before the hotel start doing creepy shit is when Danny put on his little voice for Tony, right? Like, that's the only creepy thing. Is like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? But at the same time, we've all had imaginary friends when we were kids, right? So that's not too crazy, but everything else happens at the hotel for the most part. And it's really easy to think that the hotel is really causing everything. But when you think about when Wendy was talking to, I I forgot I forgot if it was a doctor or whoever she was talking to who was looking at Danny.
I know what saying, the doctor. Yeah.
She was telling her about how, you know, Jack came home one day and Danny was messing with the papers, and he know, basically broke Danny's shoulder, and you know that he had some trouble with alcohol, and that's actually what the book was about. It was about alcoholism. So thinking about that, you know, and thinking about her being in that situation where, you know, her son was injured by her husband and who had problems with alcohol, you would think that probably happened before, or, you know, he probably had some moments of anger issues or something like that. So they probably don't have the best relationship. That kind of comes off at the beginning of the film, because you don't really see them have an issue at all until stuff started happening at the hotel. But knowing that he had problems with alcohol and, you know, the son was injured and stuff like that, you could assume that there was probably some other problems going on there. So I feel like it really was the film was masked by the, you know, the hotel and all the crazy shit happening, and the, you know, once you peel back the layers, it's really about that toxic marriage. And considering the fact that the book they said was really about alcoholism and stuff like that. But what do you think?
Well, I mean, I sounds like I can understand why the book sounds a lot more better, especially if it ties into that, because when I was watching this movie, it's like, I think it's more of a haunted hotel kind of a thing. And I'll get to that in a minute, but when I was watching this movie, it seemed like, at least I want to say maybe the first half or so of the film, after they had been in the hotel for a month, it's like, I don't really understand why Jack was kind of losing his mind, really. They didn't really dive into what was like he experienced. And it was like he was fine when they showed up at the hotel. And then fast forward a month later, and he's like starting to go a little cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. It's like, what's what's wrong with this guy? It's like they didn't show enough, because we know when he was at the hotel and he was like talking to the bartender, having that hallucination, we know he's not drinking alcohol, because before they left, they said they took the alcohol out. They cleaned it all out.
Yeah.
So he's like losing his mind. And we start seeing, I want to say, supernatural elements in this movie, especially when the head cook, Dick, is talking to Danny, has a conversation with him about seeing things and everything, and they have like this kind of it's a way that they can communicate with each other. And so it kind of like leads off that, you know, there's some supernatural elements here, and then we see the twins, and then we see the blood coming out of the elevator. I mean, we start seeing all these things. So I mean, but the way you're describing it, I mean, it definitely sounds like that's something that was a key element in the book, was a toxic relationship and alcoholism, which that would have been like really better if, you know, maybe they kind of like maybe put more of that into the movie. That would have made it, tied it up a little bit better.
See, when you said when you were talking about you know, the hotel being haunted or whatever, the first thing, actually, that conversation that Halloran had with Danny, that's when the first weird thing happened at the hotel, is when they were in the kitchen and he was talking to Wendy, but he was looking at Danny, and the conversation started to get low, and that weird ass music started to get louder. Like you knew something was weird there. And I think it was in that scene where he was talking to Danny, you know, he was talking about how the shining, or the shine, came from trauma, and like that trauma started when Jack broke Danny's, you know, shoulder. So I felt like, you know, the hotel definitely had supernatural stuff going on for sure, but I feel like it started before then, because Danny was already experiencing the shine The Shining before getting to the hotel. The hotel was the hotel just amplified everything. Basically, it amplified, Jack's feeling towards his family because, being in that giant ass hotel with nobody else but his family, I felt like it just made things progress a lot quicker than if he was, in a town or a city where he could go talk to other adults and stuff like that. He was just kind of forced to stay in this place and, deal with his wife and son. So,
those are like, I mean, with the exception of his wife and son, then he had that fucking dead old lady that he made out with in room 237. That would traumatize the fuck out of me. I think I'd go around swinging an axe at people.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I can't have any witnesses to this. I'm gonna have to kill you.
That would freak me the fuck out because she definitely looked like she had some type of flesh eating disease or something like.
Yeah, like she was just decomposing. I was like, this is not cool.
Yeah, that.
But I like how you brought up on the trauma thing. Like that's kind of like the hotel amplified what he the shine that he had, and that's actually an interesting way of looking at it because it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. So I definitely am kind of looking at it with almost like a fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah. Same. Like because we do the podcast and everything, I do try to find different ways to talk about films and stuff like that. So, because when I was younger and like when I first seen the film, it was definitely just a haunted hotel type of thing. Like,
it was definitely just haunted. That's all I thought about because all three of them were seeing things in the hotel.
Yes. So, now being older and living through some things and stuff like that, Jack and Wendy's relationship make a lot more sense now. So, I'm able to see it a little bit differently. Speaking of Wendy's. Wendy's perspective was, well, I don't want to say was she in love because obviously it was her husband. So at some point she was in love, but, was it love or was she just trying to survive? Because the scene that comes to mind is the scene where she walks in on Jack working and he basically just flipped the fuck out. Like, and she was just trying to be nice, but he said, you coming in here as a distraction and, just basically just leave me the fuck alone. But like you could tell on her face that she didn't want to do anything to like upset him more. She looked terrified or whatever, but she wanted to comply to whatever he was saying so that it wouldn't escalate. So, and it kind of seemed like she was just doing that throughout the entire film, so, was she, and when you think about the fact that, the incident that happened with, her son being injured, that incident happened, I think would definitely cause some problems between the couple. So, I just feel like she was staying in the relationship until she found the right moment to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would, it's an interesting question because, I mean, from her perspective, we also have to not just consider her perspective, but also the timing. I mean, this is the 1980s, it's early 80s. So,
of course,
I mean, leaving getting divorced and everything, just, it didn't look good at all. And, I think like when you brought up the scene where she interrupted Jack while he was typing, which we find out he wasn't typing jack shit the entire time. But I think she was reaching out to him because she was lonely too. I mean, they're isolated in this fucking hotel. All they got is the three of each other. And so I think that she handled it in the way that she was kind of familiar with, because when he was probably a drinker and everything, he probably was similar to the way he was acting right there. So she kind of handled it pretty well and just left him be.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as, is it love or survival? I would say, like I said, given the timing and everything being the 80s, maybe it was just more of trust and devotion to her husband that, he knew what he was doing. He had a grip on things. He had quit drinking, and, he was trying to apply himself to this writing thing. So it was kind of just more about trust. But then obviously when they get to the hotel and after being there for a month, that's just when it's starting to spiral out of control.
Right. Yeah. I agree with some of that. Yeah. Yeah. It's especially during that time period. I mean, but again, in that time period, I mean, and it still happened today, of course, but I think more back then, some people just put up with whatever was going on in their relationship. You know what I mean? No matter how bad it was. So,
there wasn't, I mean, back then I wasn't alive back in 1980, but I mean, I would imagine there wasn't as many like resources and everything for like single mothers and everything. So she probably did feel like she kind of was trapped and just really couldn't leave, even if she wanted to. And like I said, I don't think she really wanted to. I think she did love him, but obviously it was just, even if she had wanted to, it probably wasn't really, she thought, an option.
Right. I agree with that.
Which is why the baseball bat up inside the head helps.
Yeah, that'll knock some sense into some people. Some people, not all people. Some.
Right.
Favorite scene. If I had to choose a scene in this film that I like the most, it's definitely a couple. But I would have to go with Jack chasing Danny in the maze. Just because, it was a really like tense scene, it being cold, how crazy that fucking maze was. And then you got Jack limping with a fucking axe and, Jack Nicholson, has the ability to just look like a fucking psychopath.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, even while smiling, like it's very troubling,
Mm-hmm.
He's almost like how you look at clowns, like he can smile and a smile should be, welcoming and stuff like that, but it also look fucking scary at the same time.
Yeah.
So
to go into my favorite scene, because what you just said feeds into what my favorite scene was, and that is the scene where Jack Nicholson is staring out the window and he's got that smile on his face. So this is a very famous. This stare is actually very famous. It has a name. It's called the Kubrick stare, and it's a stare that is in, I guess, a few of his movies. And like where your head tilts forward, you're looking past your eyebrows, and you got this smile on your face, whether the smile is genuine or not. Just having your head tilted forward and looking past your eyebrows, it looks fucking sinister no matter what. And this is obviously a stare that Jack Nicholson made very famous because it's just like, it's a smile that's stuck. Even his, instantly when I saw the scene, I thought of his son who was in the movie Smile too.
Yes.
And he had a scene where he had to smile like that. And it was like, holy shit, it's Jack Nicholson is a plastic man.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely, it's an iconic scene, and the expression itself is iconic because it signifies this person is having a mental breakdown.
Right.
So it's definitely a favorite of mine.
It's definitely a look that he's made in multiple movies for sure.
Oh yeah,
Multiple
even when he
movies.
smiles, even when he has his head up and he smiles at you, it's just like, oh shit.
I feel like
something's about to go down.
I feel like that scene alone is what got him the Joker in the Batman movie. Like that scene alone.
When was was Batman after this? It was in the 80s, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was
okay.
late 80s, 88 or 89, I believe.
Okay. Well, that might have done it for sure.
Hold on, I gotta look it up because it's something that I should know off the top of my head because that is one.
I think it's like 80. I want to say it's like 85 or something. I'm gonna take a guess.
One of my favorite Batman movies. 85? No.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
No, I'm saying I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm saying it's no way that it's that early. I don't believe that. But, I could be wrong. Let's see. Batman came out 89.
89, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, it's no fucking way that came out 85. Yeah. I knew it was either 88 or 89, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so those are favorite scenes. I didn't realize that I put killer scene and favorite scene.
Yeah, I kind of left killer scene blank. I mean, the only killer, if I was going to say a killer scene, I guess for me would be, if I was going to name one off the top of my head, the most iconic scene is probably the blood coming out of the elevator.
That's like what I was going to say.
Yeah, I have never forgotten this scene.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because it's so, especially at that time, 1980.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's a scene that I've never forgotten. Like I remember watching that for the first time.
That is a lot of blood. It was a bloody scene.
It's actually funny because during that time, I think it was the MPAA. I think they wouldn't show that in trailers. Like they wouldn't show blood in trailers. For a specific audience or whatever. And I think Kubrick had told them that it was like rust water or some shit, and then they were allowed to show it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, it's still an interesting fact. That's interesting.
Okay. Let's move on to what is your killer point of view. This is how you see the film personally. Hidden messages that may live inside the film. Maybe you have a different take on how things are. For me, especially because I wanted to look at this a different way. Look at it as like a twisted love story. I've already said how, Jack and Wendy had this kind of toxic marriage. Even though we don't really see it at the beginning of the film, and it's kind of masked behind the crazy shit going on at the hotel. I think the story with Jack hurting Danny, I think for me it really adds to that toxic marriage thing. But you could look at this as like the Overlook Hotel. You could almost look at that as Jack having an affair with the hotel. And here's why. He said it multiple times in the film that he loved the hotel. Like, I think he said, I think like when he went there to talk to, I forgot the guy's name. When he was talking about, becoming a caretaker for the hotel.
Right.
And he had called Wendy. I think he said that he loved the hotel. And later on in the film, I think it was the scene where Danny was sitting on his lap in the room, and Danny had asked him something about the hotel. He asked him if he liked the hotel or whatever, and Jack said that he loved the hotel. And then when you add the fact that the hotel was trying to not force him, but definitely maybe nudging him in the direction of becoming Grady and, hurting his family, doing stuff like that.
Right.
I just think that he was in love with the hotel and he had to get rid of his family in order to be with the hotel. So in a way, the Overlook Hotel was kind of like another woman, in his relationship with his wife. So it kind of goes back to the whole, this film really being a toxic marriage type of thing. So that's just my point of view that I came up with.
Well,
which I know may sound crazy as fuck to some people, but
no, not really. I mean, because what I pretty much put down was kind of, my answer was pretty vague. I mean, I pretty much said, the book is probably more of an explanation to that. I mean, but what we've already discussed, with it being like a toxic marriage, I mean, that is an interesting way of looking at it, because it leads me to, and maybe you could answer this for me, it leads me to an age-old question that I never really have been able to wrap my brain around when it comes to this movie, is the very end of the movie, when you see Jack in the photo from 1921, I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean he's like become part of the hotel?
Yes.
Like all the dead people in it? Okay. That makes sense, because I was just thinking, I was like, what is this interpret? How do I interpret this? It's like, it's from 1921. So
that's how I took it, is that he became a part of the hotel.
Yeah. So, the hotel, it consumes people. Maybe it consumes people who, we don't know if, Jack had any trauma in his past. We just know that, he was an alcoholic, but it definitely consumes people who maybe just have, I guess you would say, their flaws. And he had alcoholism and anger and shit. So it's definitely, it's like the hotel is alive, so to speak. And it convinced him, and you could say seduced him into finally snapping and trying to kill his family. And then he probably would have, if he had succeeded in killing him, he would eventually just did what Grady did and killed himself. So,
yeah, I actually like that word, because I was trying to think of something. The hotel didn't force him or nudge him; it seduced him into doing those things. So yeah, especially when you think about the scene with the bathroom and the fucking, the lady or whatever, it definitely seduced him. So the fun fact about that photo, that said that it was from 1921, that photo was actually from 1921, and then they basically photoshopped his face into the photo.
Oh, that's cool. Shit.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
It definitely has to be from 1921, because, if you look at the photo closely, I think there's like one guy who has like a fucking Hitler mustache going. And it's like, oh, dude, this must be pre-1930s.
Yeah, I think Kubrick had thought about recreating the photo, but then he said that it looked perfect the way it was, so they just added Jack Nicholson's face onto another man into the photo.
Yeah, that's actually that was pretty good. Did you get into is there any more details what the photo was of exactly? Who are the people?
Not that I read. I think that it has something to do with a Valentine's Day ball or something. I think, because I think it said that on the photo or something.
It might have, and I just don't remember, but. Yeah, that's actually, I didn't know they did that.
Which the fact that we're putting this out for Valentine's Day is kind of a coincidence. I don't know.
What's in the Matrix?
So speaking of facts, I got 10 killer facts. Kubrick considered Robert De Niro and Robin Williams for the role of Jack Torrance. Wait,
what? Robert De Niro, maybe. I don't know what he was doing at the time, but Robin Williams?
He did Taxi Driver before this, I think.
Yeah, definitely that before this.
But he decided against them. He didn't think that De Niro would suit the role after watching his performance in Taxi Driver. He thought that De Niro wasn't chaotic enough. Or psychotic enough for the role. And he didn't think that Robin Williams would suit the role either. He thought it was after watching his performance in Mork and Mindy, which came out in 1978. He thought that he was too psychotic for the role, which is fucking hilarious.
Well, I'm glad Robin Williams didn't do it. I think that would have probably tarnished his image, so to speak, throughout the years, what we've seen him in, all the comedies and movies that he's done.
Robin Williams done some dark movies.
He has. He has I'm thinking of 1 Hour Photo or whatever, which was such a different movie to see him in.
Insomnia.
But that is, but those were later in his life.
True.
By the time,
by the time we saw those movies, I mean, it's like I was already a grown adult when I saw those movies, and it's like as a kid, all the other movies he did, like Hook,
Aladdin,
what else? Aladdin, yeah, all his voice acting movies. Forgetting about those too. It's like,
and plus
no, go ahead.
He did comedy and stuff. He used to be around Richard Pryor and stuff like that. So, yeah, it definitely would have been a different look, but knowing who Robin Williams is, like, he's another person who has that. He can go from looking very happy and inviting and stuff like that to looking very scary also. So
yeah.
So
but he would have, it would have been a good role for him if he hadn't like focused on comedy. So I mean, if he was like interested in like doing other roles, then yeah, I mean, Robin Williams definitely would have been like a big contender for the role.
According to Stephen King, Kubrick also briefly considered Harrison Ford. And I cannot see that at all.
Yes and no.
I can't see it at all.
Seen, not psychotic, but playing like a killer. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen What Lies Beneath. That was a movie where, that's a movie where, he turned out to be a killer, but it's a psychotic person. I don't know. I don't know if I could see that.
Couldn't see it. Just stick to Indiana Jones, Star Wars around that time. I couldn't see this. On to the next fact. According to Variety magazine, the film took almost 200 days to shoot. However, according to assistant editor Gordon Stanforth, it took much more, nearly a year to film. The film was originally supposed to take 17 weeks, but it took 51 instead. Because the film ran so long, Reds, which is the name of the film that came out in 1981, and Raiders of the Lost Ark, which came out in 1981, were delayed as they were waiting to shoot in Elstree Studios, which is where The Shining was filmed. So, interesting. In the film, the scene where Wendy runs past a room and sees a man in a bear costume having sex with a former hotel manager is never explicitly explained, leaving it open to interpretation. In the novel, right? In the novel, a similar situation is given a clearer context, though Kubrick chose to present it. He chose to basically just leave it up to viewers. That scene is so fucking weird.
I think we all had the same reaction that Shelley Duvall's character had. I mean, we're like, what the fuck am I looking at?
It's so weird. Like, them doing it or whatever is one thing. The fucking bear costume.
What, you never heard of furries? That's a thing now, Brian.
No, I know what it is, but what the fuck?
No, I agree. That's one of those things that it's like, they even put it in the music video. 30 Seconds to Mars did to Kill. They even put that scene in there. It's just like, what the fuck? It's just one of those scenes that people have not forgotten.
Yeah, it's not scary, but it's so fucking like, what is going on? Like it's not scary, but like it can haunt you.
Yeah, it does. It does for sure.
Oh my god! Like why the fuck are you fucking Yogi Bear? Like what is going on? On to more killer facts. Outtakes of shots of the Volkswagen Beetle traveling towards the Overlook Hotel at the start of the film were later used by Ridley Scott when he was forced by Warner Brothers to add a happy ending to the original release of Blade Runner, which came out in 1982. Stanley Kubrick, who was a really big fan of Alien that came out in 1979, gifted the footage under the condition that only shots that weren't used in The Shining, could be in Blade Runner. So
that's interesting.
There's some parts of The Shining in Blade Runner.
That's actually kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, neither did I. And I actually feel like that happens a lot more than people may realize. Like, especially when they do shots of like cities and stuff like that. I feel like those are used a lot more than people know.
Yeah, it's definitely used a lot when it comes to like sound effects, like certain screens or.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I wish I could find that YouTube video. There was a YouTube video that showed it like covered the most famous sound effects that you recognize from films. And some of them were screens, and it was like, oh shit, that's where it comes from.
Also, I feel like, especially, you know, the shots of like the camera like panning over a city, whatever. I feel like that's used in TV shows a lot.
Oh yeah, I could definitely believe it.
Because I mean, it kind of saves time and money if you're a studio and you got these shows, you know.
It saves time and money, especially back then, because you have to remember back in those days when you wanted to do like a shot from that high up, you had to hire a helicopter pilot and pay for the fuel and everything and put a cameraman in the chopper. Nowadays, we just use drones. So it's cheap and easy to do.
That actually leads to my next fact. To achieve the smoothness of the opening shots, cameraman Greg McGilvery, sorry if I fucked that up, secured a wide-angle Aeroflex camera to the front of a helicopter, then balanced the blades to remove any vibrations. Even the shot where the camera comes down behind the car, passes it out, and goes over the edge is done via the helicopter. So, I love that opening scene, like that we see of the water, the mountain, and all that stuff. It looks so fucking smooth, like. It almost, it really does look like the camera is just floating across the fucking land. Looked pretty cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I already said the thing about the photograph, which is still crazy to me that's actually a photo from 1921. Where is that? The snowy maze near the end of the film consisted of 900 tons of salt and crushed styrofoam.
Damn.
That is insane.
That's a lot.
There were so many changes to the script during shooting. A scene change was made almost daily that Jack Nicholson claimed he stopped reading it. He would read only new pages that were given to him each day. Nicholson also said that eventually, when presented with the revised scene, he would throw it in the trash knowing another was coming. So he was getting fed up.
That's actually kind of interesting because it's one of the, I was going to save it for the end when we do the ratings, but that's like one of my gripes about this movie is that some of the dialogue between like Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson, it seems like almost they were reading the script off a card just off camera. Like they hadn't rehearsed the scene. They were just reading a card that you couldn't see because it was like just off the camera lens.
Yeah.
And because it came off as too, I guess the word would be maybe mechanical or whatever. It's like it didn't come off fluid, like natural.
Right.
So that probably fucking explains why it was like that, because they were just constantly changing shit.
I mean, they did so many fucking like retakes of like scenes that they should know it by heart.
Right.
Like they did, you know, some scenes they did like 35, 40 times. I think the scene where Wendy is backing up on the steps with the bat, I think they did that like 35 times.
Actually, it's funny that you say that because I looked that scene up because I wasn't sure if this was going to be one of your facts. That take was done 127 times. I'm going to say that again, 127 times. So that when you're actually watching her hysterical, she's actually fucking losing it, because according to basically during the filmmaking, I mean, he put her under so much psychological pressure and stress that, I mean, her hair started to fall out and she was like isolating herself from the cast and shit. I mean, he was like genuinely breaking down on camera.
Yeah, she said that she cried so much that she couldn't cry anymore. She had to have like bottles of water to stay hydrated and stuff. Like it was a lot.
Just 127 takes. I probably would have taken that bat and hit the director. I think I would have been pissed.
Yeah, it was. I think the guy who played Halloran also had a moment. I forgot what scene it was. It was another scene that they did a bunch of, and he basically was like, you know, what the fuck do you want from me? Like,
yeah, it's like one of those moments when you're really reconsidering your career. You're like, am I sure I want to be an actor anymore?
Oh yeah, it was another scene with Nicholson and the guy who played Grady. I think they were in the bathroom talking or whatever, and they did that a bunch of times also. The guy who played Grady said that after each take, they would sit down and look at it, and Jack Nicholson would be like, that looks great, right, Kubrick? And he was like, yeah, it looks awesome. Let's shoot it again. And it's like, what the fuck do you mean? Let's shoot it again. Let's move on. The fuck? But yeah. And actually the guy who played Halloran, he the next film he did was with Clint Eastwood, I think, and he said that Clint Eastwood basically did like one shot, like scenes in one shot, and he said he like basically cried on set because he was so happy that he didn't have to do shit a million fucking times like he did with Kubrick. So
well, it's Clint fucking Eastwood. I mean, yeah, he gets it right.
Yeah. Kubrick had a good relationship with the kid who had played Danny Lloyd. I don't think he appeared in any other movies after this. He actually didn't even know that this was a horror film until years later.
That's believable. I mean, being a kid, child actor, I mean, depending on how old you are, I mean, you probably really don't know what you're doing. Your parents are just like, hey, we want to make money off you. Go do this.
I actually think that he became a like a biology teacher, like at a college.
Oh.
And he would threaten to like fail students that would ask him about the movie. Because like he said that, you know, it was so long ago, I was so young that I don't even really remember. I don't remember what y'all see, really.
Right, so, yeah. If anybody puts red rum on their fucking essay paper, I am failing you automatically.
So, but I guess over the years, Kubrick like stayed in touch with them and stuff like that. Congratulated him when he graduated from high school and stuff. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So last fact I have is, according to Shelley Duvall, the famous Here's Johnny scene took 3 days to film in the use of 60 doors. Now, the reason why it took so many doors is because they built the doors to break pretty easily. And
right.
Jack Nicholson, I guess he used to volunteer as a firefighter, and, you know, he was pretty good with an axe, so he would break the doors too easy. So they had to make it tougher and tougher every time. So it took.
Oh, I bet that was fun. Shit,
3 days.
Break doors all day.
3 days to do that. So, yeah, that's all the facts that I have.
That's cool.
This is a movie where, and they have, like, I think. The making of, I think there's a documentary about this film for sure.
Yeah, it's called, I just looked it up. I think it's called Room 237. So
is it
obviously in reference to the forbidden room that they weren't allowed to go into,
which was actually different from the book, because in the book it was Room 217.
Ah, okay.
They changed it because the actual hotel that they were at, had a room 217, and they didn't want people to see the film and be scared to stay there, so he changed it to 237. Yeah. So
nowadays people would be requesting that room.
Yeah, like that would be your most requested room,
right? Shit.
So let's do killer question of the week. You know, with it being our Valentine's Day episode, is love still considered love if you lose yourself trying to make someone else happy?
Oh boy.
I asked that because we see Wendy kind of, you know, if you think about the fact that, you know, her son was injured, maybe have some problems with her husband, you know.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't want to say a sane person because, you know, there's people in relationships that feel like they can't leave and stuff like that. But,
oh yeah, that's I believe it's what do they call battered wife syndrome, I believe is what they call it.
Yeah.
I mean, people who just they're terrified to leave. I mean, you know, they're either scared of their spouse or they're scared of being on their own or something. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a real thing.
I just think that, you know, I don't really think it's love. I just think because, you know, Wendy, she lost herself. I really think she just did everything that Jack wanted. And maybe she wanted to do that so that he wouldn't, you know, flip out and, you know, maybe do something. I feel like the book probably has more. I mean, well, not probably. The book definitely has more detail than the movie, for sure.
Yeah, I would say the book probably goes more into depth, and as far as their dynamic, their relationship, and everything, things that we didn't see on screen.
Right. It's especially if the book is supposed to be about alcoholism. I feel like there's probably some more stories that was told in the book than in the film. So, but I haven't read the book, so I don't know. Just thinking about the movie, you know, I feel like there's probably more there. So, I definitely think that I think if you love somebody, you can always have that feeling that you'll always love them, but it's not the same type of thing. Like, I think she loved Jack, but she wasn't in love with Jack, if that makes sense. And
she was in love with the perhaps just a suggestion. Maybe she was like in love with the illusion of being a happy family.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what it is. She was in love with the man that he could be and not really in love with the man that he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, especially, you know, that scene that we had talked about earlier when he was flipping out about her, you know, interrupting him and stuff like that. So I think she was in love with the idea instead of, you know, what was kind of in front of her. So,
right.
But I definitely think she lost herself. I mean, she almost went as crazy as he did, you know, in a different way.
Right.
In a different way. But,
I mean, she's practically running across the hotel screaming. And then she goes to him after like Danny comes to her, then when he was kind of losing Jack fell asleep at the typewriter and he had a nightmare and she shows up and Danny shows up and Danny's got the mark on his neck. She kind of instantly just goes to him and is like, "You son of a bitch, you hit our kid."
Right.
And then later on, he runs into the bar and he's like, "There's a woman in the hotel." He's just like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
Right. Because
that would have been my reaction too.
Right, because at that point, well, no, he had seen, because he was in the gold room. He was talking to the bartender before that. So he had already started seeing stuff.
Oh, yeah. He was already pretty much, the lights were on, no one was home. He was already going.
Yeah, so I wonder why he didn't believe her. I mean, he still went and checked it out, you know, but yeah. She almost went as crazy as he did. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that I think it's not the same type of love. It's definitely different. So, you want to get into ratings?
Yes, we can do ratings. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. This movie has always been, it's definitely a movie I'll just never forget. So it definitely kind of holds a special place there. But
having watched it again and picking up on just some of the things that, like, for example, like we had mentioned, I wish that they had, maybe the alcoholism would have been more of a factor in this movie. Like, they would have taken more of that out of the book, would have understood their relationship a little bit more between Wendy and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And just like some of the dialogue, like I said, just came off almost mechanical. Like, it wasn't fluid. It didn't come off as, I guess the word would be organic. It just didn't come off as natural. So, I mean, I gave the movie a 6 out of 10.
Okay. 6
out. So it still holds a place, like, for eerie atmosphere. I mean, the setting is good, isolation, all the kind of stuff that I like. It definitely has like a psychological horror element as well as a supernatural to it. So, but yeah, that's what I'd give it.
Okay. I'm going to give the film just thinking about everything, just thinking about the impact that the film had over time, longevity, thinking about the iconic scenes within the film, thinking about all the crazy behind the scenes shit that went on. I'm going to give this film a 9. Based on everything.
No, I could understand that. I mean, I think when I was doing research on it, I mean, it's even labeled as like one of the greatest horror films ever made.
I've seen a bunch of lists from different like media sources and stuff like that had it, top 5, top 20, top 100 greatest films of all time, definitely high up on the horror list and stuff like that.
The only issue I would have to add to that, and it's more of a question, it's like, this movie has like kind of withstood the test of time. Like everybody still talks about it. It's still a famous movie today. How much of that is because of who wrote the book and who the director was? Because, I mean, at the time, Stephen King obviously was, I think by that point, he was already well known. And Kubrick obviously was already a well-known director. It's like, if you had just changed those two names, would this movie even be talked about anymore?
I mean, when the film first came out, it wasn't like a hit or anything. So, it kind of happened over time, which I think speaks to how great it is. I know, like, when we talk today, and I feel like I've kind of had this conversation, been having it more and more recently about, are we in the greatest time period in horror or whatever? And it's a really hard thing to judge because you don't really know how these movies are going to be over the next 10, 20 years. Like, yes, you might like something or love something right now, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stand, the test of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I mean, I guess it depends on how much time would have to go by before you would say it has stood the test of time. I mean, 1980, when this movie came out, that's quite a long time ago. As a random movie, has Blair Witch Project stood the test of time? Probably not. I mean, but as far as how famous that movie is, it's like it definitely is like an iconic film when it comes to like found footage horror. But I mean, I've seen a lot of people like in comments and say it's an overrated movie. It's not that good anymore. So that movie probably hasn't withstood the test of time anymore. But it's definitely one that, then again, people probably haven't forgotten about. It's one people know about.
I would say that it stood the test of time.
Okay.
I mean, you could still not like it, and it still stood the test of time, but just because it's still talked about a lot today, you know what I mean?
Okay, so in order to qualify, you would say that in order to qualify a movie for standing the test of time is that it has to still be talked about, whether it's liked or disliked.
Yeah, it's still relevant. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like a film that hasn't stood the test of time, which kind of proves my point.
Yeah, you can't name one. Good point.
Leprechaun is probably a good movie.
Yeah, actually, that's the perfect one because
when I was younger, I loved that movie.
I can't even think of one. I think didn't they do one in space?
The Leprechaun? I honestly don't know. I remember the first one the most. I remember the second one. I can't remember where they went, but I remember him killing somebody on like a pogo stick or some shit. And then obviously I remember Leprechaun in the Hood. I don't know if they went to space. I don't know. But like
I don't honestly remember.
The first film, like, you know, when I first seen it when I was younger, I loved it. But like, you know, today I still like the movie, but it's not the same. Like it's a bad movie. it's a bad movie. But, you know, for when I seen it, you know, I liked it. So when I say that movie stood the test of time, no, because it didn't age. It didn't age well. And I guess that's what I mean by stood the test of time is it aging well?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So Leprechaun 93, 2 came out in 94, 3 came out in 95. Leprechaun 4 in space was in 96, and then after that, and then after 2000 is when Leprechaun in the Hood came out, and then in 2003. Back to the Hood. And then in 2014, Leprechaun Origins. And then 2018, Leprechaun Returns. It's like, I didn't even know these movies exist.
Honestly, I kind of want to watch all of them. I kind of want to watch all of them.
That is, I will say that is definitely a series that I don't think has stood the test of time because it's like, that is like one villain I don't give a damn for.
I feel like the character definitely stood the test of time more than the movie did. I think that's true with a lot of films, actually. You know, certain characters stood the test of time. The movie itself, not so much. But yeah, you know, The Shining definitely, I think stood the test of time. You know, it's still relevant. You know, some people have it on their top, you know, whatever list. But I do understand, you know, what you mean about, you know, the name King and Kubrick being tied to it. Jack Nicholson also, you know, it's like, but I think at the time, I don't think it was like that, especially because it wasn't received how it is today. So
right. Well, like you said, you know, at that moment, you know, when that movie came out, people probably were like, yeah, this movie's going to be forgotten about in about a year or so. And like, look at it now. I mean, and today if you and I sit here and name off a few movies that came off maybe last year or whatever, we're like, how many of those movies are going to be talked about like 10, 15 years from now?
Yeah. It's especially like to the level that The Shining is talked about. You know, we talked about how it's referenced in so many different movies, music videos. Like it's referenced so much. A lot of movies, you know, as much as we like, you know, some of the movies that came out last year, how many of those movies actually touched pop culture? Not a lot. You know what I mean? No. So, like I honestly, and there were a lot of horror movies that came out last year, but how many actually touched pop culture? I think you would struggle to name 5. Like, pop culture is a different atmosphere than just the horror community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I think you would struggle to reach 5 films that actually hit pop culture that came out last year. But yeah, that's a good conversation, I think. Yeah, so I gave it 9. I give it 9 out of 10. You got anything else to say about the film?
No, not about the movie. No.
I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts on how you look at this film. Do you see the love? You could almost say love triangle that I pointed out between, you know, Jack, Wendy, and the hotel. You know, just what are your thoughts on The Shining? You know, there's, you know, this is one of those films that has been talked about a lot and by a lot of people. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. As far as our next episode, we will be discussing the 2010 remake of The Crazies. Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a fun film. We will see if everybody will be on that episode, but it'll be fun regardless.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will be there.
I don't have anything else. There's probably things that I should announce, but movie recommendations. You have a movie?
Yeah, I was about to say I can name one movie. Caught this one this year, even though it came out last year. 2025's Marshmallow. Now, odd name for a movie, I agree, but here's the synopsis. A young boy arrives at his first summer camp trip, but his shyness will become the least of his worries when he begins seeing a sinister figure from a campfire tale lurking in the woods. So, this movie had a pretty good opening that grips you with curiosity. It's like the opening sequence. You really want to be like, okay, what's this about? Fucking great plot twist. It was like, holy shit, I never saw this coming. And acting was good. About an hour and a half movie. It's available on Amazon, Fandango, AMC Plus, Apple TV, all the standard stuff. It's definitely a horror film, and it's like I said, it's got a pretty decent plot twist.
And it came out last year.
Yeah. Marshmallow 2025.
Oh yeah, I got it. It's on my fucking watch list.
It's one. It might be one worth talking about down the road, because I think there's some interesting questions that you might come up with when watching it.
What's on Paramount Plus? Yeah, I might check this out this week.
Good deal.
That's definitely some people I recognize. Yeah, I might check this out this week. And it's camp related.
Oh yeah, summer camp. So.
Y'all know I love fucking summer camp related fucking horror films.
Yeah, that's instantly when I first saw it. I was like, okay, it's summer camp. Brian's gonna like that already.
Yeah, I'm gonna check this out. Yeah, that's the only film you got, right?
Yep, that's the only one I got for now.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you guys like, comment, share on our Instagram post. This also will be available on YouTube, audio only, but if you made it this far, you're probably not going to listen to it on YouTube also, but we will have episodes on YouTube also, audio only for now, but if you want to listen there, you can. There's some other things that I probably should announce, but I do not have them in front of me, so just gonna have to wait.
Yeah, let's stay mysterious about it.
That's not the button I meant to press. See what happens when you don't do this shit for a long time. Jesus Christ. Oh, here we go. There we go. Just remember that the point of view is always killer.